Guys Who Cry podcast.
Greg did it.
I stole it. I'm sorry.
I like that you did it, Greg.
Yes,
like
Greg.
that.
We love that. We love
I
that,
gotta get the
Greg.
juices flowing, man. I don't feel like the juice. Maybe that's not a good expression to use, but I don't feel like the juices are flowing yet in my brain.
Yeah. I see what Greg
basket.
did.
Yeah. What?
My juices are very low just because I'm fighting a little something off. But
Fighting a little flu, possibly.
a little ick. Got a case of the ick.
I didn't get my vaccines yet, like my flu shot yet this year.
You know, I've never gotten a flu shot.
Yeah, I didn't before
should've.
COVID. Greg, you usually get them,
True.
right? I feel like you would. I don't know why.
You know what? I did not get a flu shot this year. And
Wow, breaking news.
I got the flu last year, and it was brutal. It was worse than COVID. Like the flu
Kicked your butt.
Oh my gosh.
And it still kills people every year, right? Yeah.
Almost 105.3 fever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man.
So Greg, we got something different going on this week.
Explain to the class what's going on behind you guys. You guys are apparently
we'll give
in
you a
some
hint.
sort of
we balling.
We've got a clear soda can here.
That's the trick. Any tech nerds out there know what's happening.
Yes, it seems like you guys are in some sort of like video game basketball arena or like street ball, like some sort of futuristic shooter game where like there's like a basketball side mission you can do, you know?
What is it, Greg?
We're sitting in front of a green screen. And I don't know. This was one of the best things we could come up with so far. More to come on the backgrounds behind us.
More like we just Googled an image, but I was like, well, it's kind of urban. It's kind of masculine. I guess I always just use that. We need to like actually
It's
make
for
one.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I don't know.
Yeah, clearly. only
there's
only
pink in
that
it.
half of the screen. This half of the screen.
Yeah. But
we're just trying to do stuff.
we're back for a third episode.
Third episode
so far.
Yeah, you got it.
Season
4, Big Daddy.
4.3.
Oh yeah.
The big 4.3.
We're always trying to challenge ourselves with new tech innovations and keep it interesting, not only for audio but also for visual, because a lot of things are visual these days, you know. So
they are.
Yeah,
I agree.
Everything is. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm in the living room, which I don't know if you guys listen to sports radio over there, but in the tri-state area, there's a sports talk show with Sonny Hill. He's like an old like black dude who does like basketball commentary, and he's like, "You're in the living room with Sonny Hill," and it's literally like a living room setup in like a ShopRite.
Oh, really?
Which I always thought could be like a really fun thing for us if we ever made this like a big time thing to like come up with like a sponsorship deal with like Kroger or something, you know. We'd be able to like record in a Kroger every week and be like, "We're coming to you live from the Kroger in Garden City, South Carolina," you know, just like the most random location.
Yeah, it would be
so
super
much
random.
fun.
Get a bunch of snacks beforehand and walk around down the food aisle. Get some Monster energy drinks. There you go. Couldn't you pick like a more interesting place, like a convention center or something?
Well,
like
but I think it's funnier if like
Ladies
if I come back
and
up,
gentlemen.
yeah, coming at you live from the Wawa.
Kroger aisle 3.
Coming at you live from the 10 for 10 section in Acme.
You hear somebody from the back. Sir, are you going to pay for that Gatorade?
Yeah, that's right. You hear the announcements on the intercom for someone to clean up the spill on aisle 4 or something. You know?
Yeah, dude, it'd be so much fun, dude. It'd be so much fun. So if there's any grocery stores that are looking to host a podcast, reach out, you know. Guys Who Cry Official on Instagram, you know, we would love to hear from you.
If they sponsor us, what do we get? Like free samples of bologna or something like that?
I don't know. We get something. Yeah, we get something. We get like a $10 credit to get like a hoagie or something in the
there you
go. Deli section, you know.
Hey, that would work.
Yeah, that sounds good. Did I ever tell you about the time I sold these speakers on eBay and the person who bought them was like a general manager of a grocery store? So I had to deliver them. The guy DJ'd on his part-time, and so I drove him up to upstate New York, and I was like, where did I take him? He was communicating with me the whole time. He's like, just go into the grocery store and then ask for Jim or whoever and tell them that I deliver the speakers. So he had somebody meet me or whatever, like a representative of his. He was upstairs in this like normal, regular, full-size grocery store. I was like, okay. So I put these big speakers in a shop in a grocery store cart, drive them in. And then he was like, hey, do you want some free sandwiches? I'll have somebody at the deli like make you say like whatever you want. I was like, I'm just selling the speakers, man. It was just a random place to deliver something. But
and you said no? What is wrong with you?
Well,
dude? Don't offers you free hoagie.
He gave me. I think I just bought like an energy drink or something. I didn't need a lot, but have you guys sold us stuff on? Greg sold stuff on the internet.
I have.
Anything crazy?
I did it the dangerous way. I sold an old Pioneer DJM 500, which is a giant, like large format mixer that like techno guys would use.
Yeah.
And the guy that I sold it to was like, "Hey, I'm in Delaware. Can we just meet in the back of the Grottos lot down in Newark?" And I was like,
bad sign.
No,
actually, that parking lot's wasn't too bad.
Like, I went down there. He bought the item, and he paid me, and we just met in the back of the parking lot, and I gave it to him, and then he found out we did a radio show on WVUD at the time. We did zero hour radio, which was like a techno kind of podcast. Not podcast.
Nice.
Actually, it went over FM,
station, right?
Yeah, it went over FM on 91.3, and then we also used to put it on our website at the time.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, "Hey, would you want to play?" And he like gave me a bunch of CDs. Like, "Yeah, man, let's get on." And I never caught up with him. His name was like DJ Rexroad or something like that.
Nothing shady though. It wasn't like
no, he was a cool
legit.
dude.
Yeah,
I got lucky. The guy could have totally like punched me and taken the mixer.
Yeah,
do you guys have any like
experiences? Go ahead.
What's like the craziest thing you've ever bought off of like Facebook Marketplace or like Craigslist?
Bought.
Well, this thing came off of.
You bought that there. I bought a Mac. Like I bought a Mac computer. Again, from a guy. Yeah, I don't know. It was fine. I'm trying to think of the crazy stuff. We went and we bought a bunch of used drum stuff. And so we both play drums and we wanted to upgrade our cymbals and get like good cymbals, but we wanted to get them pre-owned. So we found a guy on Craigslist or whatever, and we went into his house. The guy's
oh my gosh,
single family home is filled with drum stuff, like good stuff, like drums, cymbals, stands, accessories, everything. And I think wasn't his wife saying like, I need to get this stuff out of here? Wasn't he like married or something?
Yes.
Yeah. So we bought a bunch of great stuff from him that I still use to this day. And
me too. One of us took a step towards like the dining room. He was like, "Whoa, no, don't go there." And I was like, "Okay." Like, I mean, it was like one step. It was like literally one step. And he was like, I guess he was afraid. He was nervous.
Sells drugs in the other room. I don't know.
Yeah.
What about you?
I remember. Well, okay. So when I was living in Nashville, I was living in a pretty like shady area when I first moved there. And my barber was like right around the corner from my house, PJ's Barbershop. Shout out to PJ's Barbershop in Nashville, Tennessee.
Shout out.
Murfreesboro Road. Mm-hmm. But the first time I went in there, right, I remember I called Cortland because I was like, dude, I feel like I had the quintessential black barbershop experience, right? I walk in, PJ's cutting my hair, he's sitting on a stool, like lining me up, right? And then I get done, I pay, and then like while I'm waiting to pay, I go over and I see there's some like sneakers in the corner, right? And I'm looking at these sneakers, like, oh, these are all my size. And they were like nice sneakers, right? And PJ walks up, he's like, yo, you looking at the sneakers? And I'm like, yeah, man, there's some pretty good pairs here. He's like, yo, that's my man selling them over there. Like, let me go talk to him. I might be able to get you a deal.
Wow.
I was like, sick, right?
Huh.
So so he goes out and he comes back in and it's like 8 pairs of shoes. And he's like, yo, my man is willing to give you all these shoes, $110 flat. And then he backed up like this, like, and I was like, man, I don't need eight more pairs of shoes, but I'll buy these 2 right here. He's like, all right, $20 a piece. And like these shoes go on like GOAT for like, $120. So they must have like fell off a truck or something, or maybe he was just trying to unload them. But like, I was like, I'll take it.
They could be legit. Maybe just wanted to get rid of them, or they're replicas. But no, it could be. How many shoes did you get for $100?
2. So I got 2 pairs of shoes for like $40, which is like pretty nuts. And they were like in really good shape.
So that's the thing. I've bought replica sneakers before, and I don't even care because they look exactly like the real ones. And I'm like, I would if I bought real ones, I bought real sneakers too, and they were fakes. I wouldn't care because they're exactly like I can't tell. So I'm like, I don't care.
Speaking of
great for that price, fashion.
Yeah. Speaking of sneakers, how about them new Gold Johns that
oh my God,
that Mr. Trump is selling?
Greg, you don't approve of Donald Trump's new sneakers for $3.99?
It's not the $3.99.
No.
Did you see what they're selling for on eBay?
It's true. They're all being marked up. Yeah.
But they're not even the real sneakers yet, right? They haven't even delivered the sneakers. It's like the promise of a sneaker.
Oh, I haven't seen the actual advertisements. Are they not? It's just the promise. It's like,
yeah, because like one guy recently bought a pair that was signed by Donald Trump for $9,000 or like $6,000 or something like that, which is nuts. I mean, these shoes are pretty gaudy. They're gold with like the American flag on the back, and it has a big T on the side, and it just looks cheap and it looks chintzy. But I gotta tell you, the guy's a marketing genius. Like,
Yeah.
he knew that they were going to sell out immediately, and like
he has sold so much merch. I mean, after he got the mugshot, getting the T-shirt made of that was like genius. I was surprised he could swallow his ego enough to do that, or swallow his pride enough to do that. But,
and let me just say, this is not in any way us endorsing a candidate or anything.
It's just something to talk about. Yeah,
it's just saying, wow, this guy's really, really a smart businessman for doing these things. Those shoes are so gaudy though. But like, if it wasn't Donald Trump attached to it, this is not anything as a slight to you, Adam. I can see you wearing something like that big and like that shiny. I feel like you pull off
gaudy
stuff like that.
Not quite that much, but I love stuff that stands out, and that's crazy.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I don't mean that in like a bad way. Like I don't like gaudy things like that, but like my style is also very kind of like vintage. Yeah, vintage, modern, chic. I guess you could call it. Like I wear like the baggier pants now, and you're always commenting on like my like baggy fits and how it and how you good. Like it. And
I've tried to get your recommendation on how to wear more of that kind of stuff, and I just have to experiment more. Wearing wide leg, straight pants kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to know like what our listeners think, because like fashion is really interesting nowadays. Like my girlfriend and I, like we do a lot of thrifting. We get a lot of our clothes at thrift stores, Plato's Closet, Buffalo Exchange. Like we don't really ever go out and like buy anything new,
Sure.
And I feel like this shirt I'm wearing right now, I got it from a Goodwill.
Yeah.
And my Levi's right here, Goodwill. Like we try to be pretty cool about like what we buy, and like try to look like, I feel like both of us stand out wherever we go. Like especially you and I. And especially like Adam and I feel like when we're out, we stand out. I feel like people always comment on our outfits when we were hanging out together in Delaware.
I need you guys to style me. Like seriously, like I don't have like so yeah, Adam, this is Adam. See, this is me.
It's kind of dark though. I need to pick out something
kind of boring.
Well, you came right from work though.
Then Adam.
Yeah.
Then I mean, like, if I zip this up, I'm on the way. Like I'm like 80% of the way to cool at this point.
It's a little dark. It's all right.
Well, bring one of your Greg. Also, I feel like you have to wait a little bit before we do like a little, like whatever closet makeover, because you've been running quite a bit, and I feel like we need to get to a point where you're not like melting off weight, so you don't have to get a new wardrobe in like 3 months after we style you.
That's true. Yeah.
I've hit the plateau a little bit. Like I've been hanging a little bit. I've been hanging. I mean, I think I'm still like shrinking in places, but like the weight has kind of like tapered off at one spot.
After
and
a while,
it says that'll happen. Like the thing I'm following, it's like, just expect it to happen. It's going to happen. So whatever.
Right.
But I look at the stuff you guys get, especially you, Ruben. You are the thrift and Facebook Marketplace king. Like just the stuff you find. I'm like, where does he get this stuff? What is his search parameter? What does he type in?
And Ruben's ability to find clothes for other people is amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I like vintage stuff. Like my big thing is I like clothes that are unique. I like clothes that I think nobody else really has. I like having shirts that I don't see anyone else wearing. That's why I like Goodwill, because I feel like it's all older clothes that like no one really else has.
Right.
That's a one of a kind sometimes. Like I showed Adam this cloud sweater the other day, and I can, we can put it up if you want. Like, I don't know if you want to put it up later, but like this cloud sweater is unique. There's no label on it. There's no tag, but it just fits me really well. And it's such a cool looking aesthetic. And it's so funny because I feel like when I dress cool, my mental health goes way up. Like the way I feel about myself goes way up. Like, like I feel so much more confident when I'm dressed the way I want to dress. And I know you guys understand that. Adam, especially you, I know like you do a lot of that,
Well, and not dressing the way Instagram or anybody else tells you to dress, but the way that you feel comfortable. Like if I told Greg to wear something that I thought would look cool on him, or maybe even your wife told you that looked cool on you, but you might not feel comfortable in it. But if you put on something that you just really like, that's what it does. It changes your brain, and that's what's most important.
Yeah, for me, it's when I see myself in a photo. Like if I see myself in a photo with you guys or with somebody, and I'm like, oh, that outfit looks cool. I look good in that.
Yep.
And you're right. Like I just don't have that sense. I don't have the fashion sense.
No, I get it. Everybody's got a difference. I feel like that with interior design. Like I'm like, I feel like I can kind of put outfits together sometimes, but like interior design stuff, I'm just like, it's so overwhelming to me, So
I don't know.
Yeah, I leave that to
this
Liz.
Room looks awesome.
This room looks good
Adam,
for
your
a teenage.
Your room looks cool though for like your aesthetic.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like
I don't know.
this,
I feel like I'm
all of
aging
this-
out of it. Yours looks
all of
very
this
mature,
behind me-
Ruben.
That is Liz. I got to give her all the credit for making this place look as cool as it does. That's all her.
That's why I'm trying to get married, just so I can have someone come in and redesign my house. Just like
That's the
whatever
only
you want to
reason.
do. That's it. Just whatever you want to do. Fine. But
Oh man.
but buying new versus used, it's funny because I do like buying used stuff. But when I buy used stuff like clothes, I'm still looking at like luxury stuff that's still probably like way too expensive. But it's still fun. I like to go to the thrift shops in Philly where they have like designer clothes and stuff, so I can find some decent deals. But it's fun to wear outlandish stuff because sometimes people will. I have these crazy sneakers that have these like springs on the back. And they're kind of retro Asics kind of looking sneakers, but they're real big and kind of obnoxious. There was an older lady at the hospital when I went to visit my dad like a couple months ago. And it was an older lady I wouldn't expect to comment or even notice. And she was like, whoa, those shoes are so cool, And it's not like for the recognition, but it's like to be able to have a conversation with somebody. I always enjoy that because I like to comment on other people's things and start a conversation just because I find some piece of clothing unique.
Yeah, it's really funny, man. Like and like everyone's style is different. Like I know you and I take a lot of inspiration from other famous people. I feel like we follow a lot of like Instagram influencers that are like fashion influencers and fashion TikToks and stuff, and like like, oh, that's a really cool. Like, oh, I never thought of putting that with that, or this color does pair really well with that color, and it's interesting.
I heard a fashionable person say this week on Instagram, just like, I don't always put together a good fit. Some days I look terrible, but it's just experimenting and trying something new, and that's what I'm always trying to do. I look back at pictures and be like, why did I wear that? But it's experimenting.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you look at the outfits that we wore like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like, man, they were cringy. You guys remember the double collar, like the double polo pop collar?
You remember seeing that, Craig?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh, I hate that.
We used to there was a guy that came and worked at one of my jobs, and we called him Pop Collar because he literally, he was a nice guy, and like, I would never mention his name or anything, but just like, he had that total frat boy look.
Yeah.
like social fraternity, like, it was just, yeah.
Even back then, I don't feel like it was like, this is what people are doing, but I'm like, I don't know if I like this,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had like the baggy pants. I mean, you guys remember the shorts the cargo shorts that came with the little rope belt from like Airfloss style?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, I rocked that crap out of those, man. And it's funny looking now. I'm like, dude, I would never wear that, now.
Yeah.
I went through a phase where I would want to match my hat to my shirt to my shoes.
Mm-hmm. Super matchy.
God, what a douche. Yeah, what a douchey phase that was.
I say a lot of celebrities still do that. And sometimes it's cool, but it's fun to mix and match a little bit, I hate being too matchy.
Yeah.
What things influenced your style? Like I'm more motivated. I'm more inspired by like street hip hop culture ever since I was a teenager. That still inspires my style now. What do you say inspires your guys' thoughts about clothing or style? Anything?
I probably gravitate towards the hip hop style too, but then I feel like a fraud. Like I feel like, to throw back to an old episode, I feel like I'm code switching in a sense. Not code switching like because I'm in front of a group of people and I'm changing to accommodate, but just like, it's like, wait a minute, this isn't me. I can't claim this for mine,
Right.
Now, if like I'm DJing or something and I'm actually like got like a turntablism thing and, like, with other DJs, then I feel like, okay, I kind of maybe earned a little bit of the right to do this.
Right.
Still not really. But then, like, I don't know, it makes you feel a little more official because it's like, all right, this is how DJs that do hip hop and scratching and turntablism, this is how they dress. This is what they look like.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You're just trying to fit into a particular subculture,
That's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like my style is very drawn. I mean, I've said it already a couple times, just like that vintage aesthetic. I go for like, I've been doing a lot of 80s, 70s, 90s inspiration.
Any bands or any celebrities that you think model after?
Man, who I wish I could pull off? It's like a lot of those like Harry Styles looks, but like he can rock. Harry Styles looks all good and all Gucci. Shout out to our TikTok page. But yeah, like Harry Styles can rock those like high waisted pants a little bit. You know, I feel like you could rock the high waisted look a little bit too if you really wanted to.
Sometimes,
but like
he really has.
But like,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, he just has such a cool like look sometimes, and like his aesthetic. Sometimes it's a little too out there for me. But,
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something just really cool about like thrifted looks, and now there's like curated vintage. I don't know if you ever like heard that term, but like, I feel like that's kind of like where like my aesthetic is kind of going to, just not as expensive as it is now, because like that curated vintage stuff is like so expensive, like,
really expensive. You're paying someone to pick out really old and unique special pieces for you,
and sometimes they aren't even that unique.
Yeah,
you know, like someone could pay me $500. I can go to Goodwill and make them a look that cost me $20.
Yeah,
to put that look together for them, you know, and like I get it, that's cool, but like I don't know, like I have this like old Corvette jacket that I bought for like $6 at Goodwill. I can probably flip that for like $70 online because somebody wants the old car,
right?
You know, jacket. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. But that's where I go to.
Now, when you said the high waisted pants, like, what do you mean by that? Like, I get high waisted pants for women because that's like the mom jeans that all the college girls are wearing now, and it's like, really, we're bringing that back? But like, what is high waisted pants for a man? Like, what would that look like?
Wish I had a picture I could bring up.
Well, it definitely works better on like skinnier men.
Gotcha.
Like they can like pull it up a little bit further.
Like pleated pants.
Kind of like they could be pleated or not, but they just kind of come up a little bit more to the belly button or right below.
Yeah,
gotcha. That's funny. These look like an old style called like Z Cavaricis that like used to be popular in the early 90s.
Tucked in and all. Yeah, but and that's the thing. I feel like a lot of these styles, they come and go. I mean, I see people arguing between skinny jeans and straight leg jeans all the time. It's like neither of those will go away, you know?
No.
It's just everybody wears what they want to wear, and then just kind of what's trending, cycles.
Well, now it's different, right? Now it's different than it was like 15, 20 years ago. Like now we have social media, TikTok, Instagram, all of these things that like everyone can kind of be their own person. Whereas like 20 years ago, like if you weren't wearing a certain thing, like you were like, when we were in high school, like you think about like the different cliques there were, right? There was the Hot Topic kids. There was the Aeropostale. Like you were definitely like clicked out by what store you shopped at. Like
you're saying you don't think that happens now?
I don't think as much. I mean, I think now it's very much accepted to remember like back in the day, it's like if you got your clothes at Goodwill, you were poor. And now it's almost like a badge of honor.
That's something that's changed, I guess, too. It depends on where you are, too. Again, subcultures matter. Again, like if you're again, some places, if your sneakers aren't Jordans or they're not super fresh or they're creased or whatever, I mean, people will call you out on that stuff, And maybe the same thing with thrifting in certain areas, or if you're a teenager in high school, it's different. I'm not sure about that, actually. But
yeah. I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot more accepted to be like whatever you want at this point, Because
there's exposure to every different type of style. It's all mixed in media and culture and everything that we see. Everything's exposed. So
yeah.
Everything's a surprise. That's cool. All right. Good stuff. Speaking of fashion, I was going to say, you guys always have announcements. And honestly, I don't care because I never really share this stuff with people, but I am finally going to go to Europe in a couple months. I had a friend call me up and say, hey, I really want to go. Would you go with me? And I was like, yeah, it's a country I was considering going to before, Spain. And so I was just like, I just kind of need to do it. What's weird though is I don't fantasize that stuff. I don't care that much. It sounds terrible, but it's not something I get more excited about doing this than I do about like, and I'm really fortunate that I get to go to another country and experience new things. And especially being single, I'm like, I have the time, I have the resources, I should just go, and I have someone to go with, and I should just do it, So speaking of fashion, my friend was just telling me, don't dress like a thug when you go. You need to dress European, which whatever that means, European. I don't know, but
I don't think you need to really worry about that. I mean, I would talk to Greg about that before I would take anybody else's.
Yes, I would advice. Just say dress however you want. I mean, Europeans are not going to judge you based on how you dress. Like if you go over there, you'll see people in all kinds of shirts and pants and different outfits and different logos, and you'll see stuff sports logos that you think they're from the 90s. You might see somebody wearing an Umbro shirt, and you're like, whoa, I remember that from like 1991.
What are a couple of the countries you went to, Greg?
I've been to Belgium. Let's see, Czech Republic. I've been to, you're putting me on the spot.
Did you go to Germany?
I've been to,
Germany?
Let's see. Germany, Belgium. I've been to all the Belgian cities like Brussels, Bruges, or Bruges, if you want to say it that way. Ghent. And we went to Netherlands. We went to Holland, Netherlands, and we went to where there's a town called Boxtel, another town called Utrecht.
Ghent is a country?
Ghent is a city in Belgium.
Oh, it's a city in Belgium. I see.
Yeah, it's an older city. I think I don't know if it's the oldest city in Belgium.
I see.
Yeah. Been to France, Paris.
Oh.
We've been all over the place.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Spain, so you will definitely be somewhere I've never been if you go to Spain. And I don't know, just you can be yourself. Be you.
We'll figure it out. But just doing stuff. It's mental health, I feel like, is a part of that too. It's just being busy, like having things to do and not having too much time to think about it. I mean, it's good to reflect on life and meditate and all that too, but when I'm just sitting around too much, it's not good. But Ruben, does that interest you? Like, when you think, do you think about travel? Is that something you and Liz talk about or fantasize about, or do you really not really care that much?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's funny. I think one of the crazy things, I think, when you start, and Greg, I'm sure you have some thoughts on this. When you meet somebody that you were like, oh, I'm going to start building a future with this person, your life at work becomes kind of like just that, just work. And you want to make, like for me, so much of my life was built around work. And now I want that work time to be shorter, so I have more time with Liz. So like we want to do stuff like we want to travel to Europe. We want to go to like Thailand. We want to go to, Europe and Spain and all that stuff and travel together, Italy, India. We want to do that, travel together. And, with the nature of her work, there's potential for her to also perform out there and like get exposure to her music and,
True.
So we're definitely, it's definitely something her and I talk about, especially like her on her own too, can definitely do that stuff because, she's super talented and really like good at making tours and stuff.
Right. Stuff like that. I feel like making new memories is always something I don't necessarily look forward to, but after I do it, I look back and I say, I'm glad that I did that or I tried that or, but I'm weird. I'm like Larry David in Curb Your Enthusiasm, or I think Jerry Seinfeld said it to him on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, where he's like, do you get excited about anything? And Larry David was like, no, my mom always criticized me about like not getting excited about things. And my brother says that to me now. He's like, Adam, do you get excited about anything? Like, I don't know, like meeting girls, maybe. Like, no, like, yeah, whatever. I got to do this. All right, we'll just do it. I don't know.
Man, that's sad, man. Speaking of Jerry Seinfeld, I don't really like Jerry Seinfeld.
You think he's a jerk?
I've never really been the big, I just never really got it. I never got it. You didn't
like the show, Seinfeld?
The show is okay. I just like, I get it's like cultural stamp, but as like a show, like, I don't know. I've never been like, oh, I need to watch an episode of, I just mentioned this episode of Seinfeld. There's people out there that are like that. It's like the show Friends. I've never really been like the biggest fan of Friends,
Me neither.
I don't know. Maybe it's just Seinfeld. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like,
I feel like you'd like Curb Your Enthusiasm a little bit better.
I like Curb way better.
You do, yeah. I figured.
But you ever see those like skits that are like, what if Seinfeld was today? Yeah. And like, I would love to see like a Jerry Seinfeld-esque episode about like Tinder and like online dating.
Sure. There's a lot of philosophical moments in them, which is why I like using them for reels, Seinfeld clips for Instagram reels or TikTok, overdubs. It's just because there's a lot of little tidbits in there. It's like, oh, I've thought that about life. It's like that with any show, sitcom you listen to. You're like, oh, I really empathize with that thought or that feeling.
Yeah.
But that's really any show. People say that about The Office. They said like, oh, you couldn't make The Office now. It'd be too politically incorrect. I was like, yeah, you definitely could. You just tweak some of the jokes, but I don't think you couldn't make it today. Do you guys think that?
Yeah. I don't know. It is. I'll tell you what, it's a show that it's kind of hard for me to watch now. I know it's one of my favorite shows of all time, but I tried to rewatch it recently and it was just really tough.
Because of all the comments?
Too awkward or uncomfortable?
I don't know if it was the comments, but maybe it's just like, as I've gotten older, maybe there's things I'm just like, oh, this doesn't hit the same anymore.
Yeah, I got
Not that it's like inappropriate, not that it's like not funny, but it's not funny to me as an adult.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
It's an old show. So I used to love Viva La Bam. Do you remember that?
Oh,
you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Bam Margera. Yeah.
So I bought a lot of the seasons on DVD and I found them in a box that we had moved and just they got stashed. I was like, oh, there's on my Bam DVD. So I pulled them out and I put it in. I was like, yeah, this just didn't hold up. It's not like it used to be.
It's not like fun to watch, like when he makes a skate park in his house or whatever. It's too much. It's like,
I feel bad for his parents, for Ape and Phil. Like,
Yeah,
I just
I
feel
gotcha.
how, like, you know, like they torture them, and maybe they really don't, but
they're part of it, obviously. Like they're,
Yeah.
but it's still
Yeah.
like, oh, who could do this? Who could actually do this? You know, but Jackass still holds up. I'll play Jackass for my dad sometimes, and he thinks it's really funny. It's great to see his
It is
reaction.
funny.
He'll be like, "What?" I think it's like a guilty pleasure. But
It's really interesting to see like stuff that like doesn't age well. You know, recently Shane Gillis was on Saturday Night Live,
Yep.
and if you guys don't know about Shane Gillis, you guys can Google him. But long story short, he was hired by SNL a couple of years ago, and then very quickly before the season even started, he got fired because of
Doing Trump. Yeah.
he got fired because he had some like
Good job, guys.
because he had he did some like racial remarks and like kind of like word like homophobic remarks, some joke.
Right.
And he's blown up since, I guess, getting fired. So they brought him back on, and I guess it was kind of cool to see in a way that like, okay, now I think we're reaching a point in society where we're giving people space to learn from their mistakes in the past.
Yeah.
I don't know, to even like be like to even be for him. Like I never thought he would ever be even associated with SNL, but to see that like they brought him back to host, it was wild.
Yeah, obviously it depends on what the offense is. You know, there's certain people, it's depending on what they do, their behavior, it's really hard to come back
course,
from. And I think that makes sense. With words, it's a little bit different. And again, coming from a white guy, I know it's hard to have an opinion on this sometimes, but I feel like with words, we can be a little bit more flexible on as a society in terms of, forgiving people, especially if they're not perpetuating the same, public comments they've made in the past. It's like, okay, well, you said something you shouldn't have said in the past, but like, just don't say that stuff in the future.
yeah, it's interesting. I feel like SNL is trying to become a little bit more inclusive. Like they had Nikki Haley on not too long ago, which I thought was kind of a cool move.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool that we're giving people space to like heal and learn, and because I mean, God knows that I've said stupid stuff in the past before, and there's things that like I look back at things I said or like posted, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what was wrong with me? Like why would I even say that? Why would I think that was okay? And
yeah,
those things. Yeah,
I live in the YouTube world a lot. I don't watch a lot of Netflix, but I love listening to debates and people, from various positions talk and discuss. And I'm all for that. I'm all for open discussion, even with people I radically disagree with. I think it's good that the country is able to do that. And SNL is a good, kind of microcosm of the society, I think, at large. And so if we can have different representations of different beliefs, even though I, hold my beliefs very strongly, I think that's good for the country. That's just my personal opinion. It's good when different people can get together.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. What other shows have you been watching recently, Ruben? You were talking about that show Alone.
Oh yeah, Liz and I have been watching Alone, it's been our nighttime show because it's a pretty relaxing show to watch. Oh, Greg has a total Al Bundy face on right now.
Oh.
He's switching, so it's okay.
I'm trying to see something very far away.
Total Al Bundy.
Not now, Peg.
Yeah, wow. Uncanny.
What's the show Alone?
So Alone is a show where they put these contestants out in the wilderness, and they're all like wilderness experts. But it's interesting to see, like, so they have to pretty much live out there whoever lives out there the longest gets $500,000, which is a crazy prize. It's like
wow,
more than life changing. That is like
that's
a
lot.
Lifestyle changing amount of money. And so it's interesting to see because there are people who go out there and like, for example, the one season we watched, like it was this guy and like he had built a table, a game, like he could have lived out there as long as he wanted to, but he just really missed his wife. Wow. And so he's like, I'm just missing Barbara, so I guess I'll just go home. And he was like, dude, if Barbara was out here with me, he's like, I'd be able to live here forever.
Oh, that's
and I thought it was, and it's super cool because like you start to see like the people who survive out there. You're like, oh, okay, this person maybe isn't the best at wilderness living and surviving, but they don't really, they have a really good willpower. Their willpower is strong or whatever. Right. So it's interesting to watch because I wonder, like you guys, 'cause I feel like Liz and I joke because I was like, dude, if I went out there, I would tap out like the first day because I would just miss being home too much, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, just it's a testament to how social creatures we are. You know, I think that's what makes most of them tap, right? Or is it any of it physical? Is it mostly relational that they just miss being around people?
It's mostly relational, I think. I think sometimes like every now and then they'll go home for something that's like
health related or
health related. Like
or
one woman like accidentally like hit her thumb with her axe.
Oh.
And had to go home and like had to get stitches right away and all of that. And you know, some of them get scared because of the predators and the bears and stuff. And yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. It's funny because like I feel like I didn't get placed in the middle of nowhere, but like I have been struggling recently with like kind of feeling lonely, especially when like Liz goes on tour and stuff. Like it's been kind of tough, just because like I don't know. Like I really like if I was like living in Delaware and this was happening, it'd be fine, you know, because I had you guys. I have like my core.
Yeah. Separated from friends and family.
Yeah, so I guess like it's interesting to watch people who just don't have that at all. They're like, oh, I kind of understand what you're going through a little bit. Obviously, I'm not trying to like survive in the wilderness, but like, well, you know,
do some of the people in the show are they like that they don't have large social networks or close family? They just like being alone.
I think they do. I think some of them are just like they want to prove to themselves that they can do it, and sometimes they're like, you know, I did everything I wanted to accomplish while I was out here, and I just didn't want to be out here anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're like, you know, I could have been out there for another 60 days, but like, I just really wanted to go home.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
But,
well, and again, that comes back to that philosophical conversation. That's why I just never have a problem saying like, I need someone. I need friends. I need family. And even saying I need a relationship. A lot of people stray away from that terminology these days, and I understand why. We're all very self-sufficient, right? It's like, oh, I got to stand on my own 2 feet. I need to be independent, all that. But I'm also like, I'm humble enough to say, hey, like we are relational creatures. And if we are not around people very often, I mean, isolation literally drives people insane. So
yeah.
And
that's what I mean. Like relationship. Yeah. And relationship 100%. Doesn't have to mean like just having a significant other.
No.
You know, like you and I formed this crazy bond during COVID. Like you and I became best friends during COVID. Like now we talk 3 times a week on the phone, cool, you know, right? Like,
yeah,
you know,
well, I feel that way when I hang out with you guys, or even, you know, Greg, I probably don't tell you enough, but even when you come over and we play around with the green screen stuff and do all that stuff, it takes my mind off stuff. I'm not thinking about, oh, I got to use a dating app or talk to some girl or do this or whatever. I'm like, I'm pretty content. And Ruben, I felt the same way hanging out with you. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's you know, we're just super excited. Just to like be around people, you know.
100%. Well, and again, I have. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, even if you're like, even if you identify as like an introverted person, like you still want to have, whether it's like going to work, even and like just talking to people, you know, like, you know, that's something that like Liz and I've talked about. Just like even just the need to like be around people in a work environment is like huge.
It helps people a lot. That's why I've really enjoyed coordinating the meetup groups recently, because I know that there's a lot of people. It's a remote workers group, so it's mostly people who work from home, and that group specifically is, you know, prone to just being lonely. They're not in an office or anything like that. So it's really nice to be able to get people together who don't have a group or have moved here from other places and don't have any friends, just like you've experienced, Ruben. And it's been really fun to connect people because I know how much I need it. So if I can provide a mechanism through which people can connect, you know, I can really feel their pain.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is cool.
You guys want to do mental health check?
Do mental health check. Wrap it up. You want to go first, Ruben?
Sure. I think last week I said I started at like a 3 and I ended up at like an 8.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'm hovering around a 6.5 this week.
Okay. Oh, that's actually kind of low. Do you want to elaborate on that? I know you're sick.
Oh yeah, I'm sick. I think that's definitely adding to it. I mean, honestly, it's probably more like a 7.5 to be honest. But like, I'm sick. Obviously, being sick has something to do with it. I think, you know, obviously, like thinking about the future, I think is always scary. I got a few like medical bills in this week, and I think it was just kind of like a bummer to feel like, oh, I was just getting ahead on everything, and now I get like hit with these things, you know. And it's like, God dang, man, I just wanted to like finally for once to be like ahead on things, and I just feel like I keep getting behind. But
that'll do it.
But it's really important in these times to like, I try to tell myself how many things I have right now
to
be thankful for. And as much as it's okay to wallow, I think it's just as important in those situations to realize how good you actually have it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, to realize what's good in your life. So
it's good to do
I'm
both
at 7.5.
7.5. Cool. Yeah. I think it's really great to be able to recognize that there are external factors that can make us happier, whether that be people, money, a better job, better this, whatever. Those things can contribute to our happiness. But then also on the flip side, just admitting what you're grateful for. So I should do that more often. 7.5. I'll probably, I guess it's probably the same. 8, I feel like is normal for me.
That's good.
I guess it's okay. I don't know. I like trying to go on. It's discouraging. It's always discouraging when I connect with new people like on dating apps and they just like don't work out, especially if it's like on me where I'm just not feeling it. It sucks to be on either end of it, which is like, man, I meet good people. Why can't I just make this work, but otherwise I'm fine. This helps. What about you, Greg?
I'm probably at about a 7. Yeah, I had a good week. It's just been busy, just been running constantly, but it's all been good stuff. We had a trip. We went, my wife's family down in Ocean City, New Jersey, and that was kind of fun. Man, was it cold down there?
We could play a little getaway.
Yes, but it was great. Yeah,
that helps a lot. Getaways too. Ruben, aren't you going to do a getaway soon? Did you already get some time away?
Oh yeah. I think next week. Liz has a showcase in Savannah, so I'm going with her.
Okay.
So we're going to Savannah, and then the week after that, I'll be in Delaware for a couple days to say hi. I just want to check in on my parents and say hi to you guys, and I think everyone can kind of get some actual time with Liz, and I think it'd be cool to kind of introduce her to the group.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be awesome.
All excited.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be good to see you. We can record a couple of little shorts or something, whatever we can do. And it'll be great to see you, man. So I guess we'll wrap this up. And thanks for letting us experiment with the green screen, because this is like a good little test episode, as you can tell. But it's fun. It's fun to watch. It makes the show a lot cooler. So thanks, Greg.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
Yeah, and I think we might be on track to have our first guest of the season soon. So be entertained. Yay! I stole it.